asks, she said, Doc, what do you suggest to stop bedwetting in young boys? Doctors have suggested an alarm that awakens her son after he's wet. Sorry, they're rolling in so fast. It definitely affects his self-esteem. He's a hard sleeper. Doc, any suggestions?
Yes, well, let's just talk actual facts here. Any child that has been potty trained, as they say, or bathroom trained, that's what we should say, and then they start wetting the bed again, that's almost 100% the sign that something emotional is affecting that child, and they don't know how to express it, and they don't know how to deal with it. So all of these bells and whistles and these alarms and all kind of stuff, that doesn't do anything but cause that child more being uptight and more anxiety about the situation. The reality is the best thing that you can do is try to address what do you think as the mother. You're probably going to be the best person to figure this out. What could be the emotional reality that's causing your child to digress in a certain way? And then we have to make sure that we're not setting up an environment that makes that child lose self-esteem, that makes that child feel bad. So we have to be very very careful and very ingenious as parents to make sure that we're setting up an environment that supports them and doesn't make them feel like they're bad because they wet the bed. They feel like they're bad or they're a bad person or they did something that they should be embarrassed about. It should be a type of environment set up to let that child know that, hey, look, this is something that's going on with you that we're going to get through. We're going to have to do some things to make sure you get better at this, but don't beat yourself up. Don't think bad about yourself. A lot of children go through this, and it's true. Many, many children go through bedwetting as a result of emotional issues that they're going through that we as parents sometimes can't see, that we as parents sometimes don't know how to handle. But the worst thing you can do is take your child to somebody that wants to put them on some medication or put them on some type of a program making them think that something is wrong with them. That's the worst way to handle that situation.
Wow.
So what I did with my son was there was a certain time where he couldn't drink after a certain period. And, of course, I'm going to put that on the parents. You know your children. You know what time dinner time is. You know when to cut it off, or you have to figure it out. But there was a certain time that he couldn't have anything else to drink. When he went to bed, we'd make sure he go to the bathroom. Usually we would get him up maybe about an hour and a half after he went to bed, get him up, make him go again, and then put him back in the bed.
Okay.
Now, it didn't work overnight. He still had some problems every once in a while, but eventually, over a few months, it worked, and he got back to being right. It was after me and my ex-wife went through a divorce, and it heavily affected him, as a divorce would affect any child.
Wow.
So I'm using my own personal experience to help people understand, look at what's going on in your life. And let me just give another example.
Okay.
I was in the park the other day. I was exercising, and there was a sister running around the track that I run, and her husband or boyfriend, whatever he was over with their son, and he was playing a little football with him. So the sister was running around, and she went to the car and wanted something out of the car, and the car was locked. And so she hollered to him, open the car for me. And then she got really frustrated because he was taking too long. She got back on the track and started running. Long story short, she comes back, they start arguing. The little boy is sitting there. He couldn't be any older than 2 years. And he was standing there looking at him and just looking back and forth like it was so normal. He wasn't even tripping off the fact that his mother and father were in a park hollering at each other, all up in each other's face like they were about to kill each other. He was just looking like that was normal. Now, if you take a child who grows up in a family that's trying not to expose them to that type of stuff, if you expose that to a child, that child is not only going to probably start crying like they're and going crazy because what they see their mother and father going through, but they're probably going to have some issues that night while they're asleep. They might have a nightmare. They might wet the bed. They might do all kinds. They might not be able to digest their food right. So I'm just throwing that out there as an example that mothers and fathers, and most of the time it's mothers that pay more attention to children, you should be able to go back within a not too distant future when your child started having that problem and maybe figure out what may have been done. Now, if you're the type of mother that's not getting along with the baby daddy or vice versa, and it started happening when they were spending time with the other person, that's going to be a lot more difficult to figure out. But 99.99999% of the time, when a child has been bathroom trained and they go back to wetting the bed, there's some type of psychological issue that's affecting them. It doesn't necessarily mean it's some major problem, but something is affecting that child. They don't know how to express it, and what they're really doing, their body and their whole aura is telling you, I need help.
I just sit here and I'm just visualizing two grown people sitting here going off on each other in a park, and a child sitting there like, what the heck do I do, man? And I just think about that. That makes me reflect on all the foolish mistakes I've made, and I've done my best not to try to act a fool around my children, you know, but the mistakes and the foolishness that we all make, man, and it gets called to order on something that simple, Doc, and I appreciate it. I really, really do, Doc. I know you got to get back.